Everyone good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Did you guys bring me snacks? This looks like a little buffet.
I got a banana.
This is amazing. This is amazing. If you guys are hungry, there's some food over here. They were nice enough to bring some. Awesome. How's everyone doing so far? Good. Is this the first presentation for anyone? You've already been and you've been in the main room? Everyone's been already? So you all got up early? Early birds? Awesome. So first I want to thank everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. I always love speaking and just sharing some of my thoughts, and to have people that come and me be able to do that, it's just an amazing thing for me. What we're going to do today is we're just going to have a conversation. Okay, that's really what this is. Obviously there's a presentation, but for me it's a conversation, and it's a conversation that I've had more times than I could count, to be honest with you. And I thought that it's a great conversation to share with other people. And I think you'll get a lot out of it if you're present, if you pay attention. I'm gonna stick around afterwards as long as if anyone wants to hang out and chat with me and continue the conversation or ask me specific questions, I am more than happy to do that. I'll give you all my business card at the end if you want. If you want to connect with me after the fact, if you have to run out or do anything, I'm more than open to continue the conversation with you, okay? This is something I do because I love it, not for any other reason. Fortunately, I can make a living doing it, but if I won the lottery and I could do this for free, this is exactly what I'd be doing. No questions asked, okay? Ready?
Yep.
Okay, first thing. This is not a motivational speech. If you can't see, I'll keep moving, okay? It's not a motivational speech. Let me be very clear. A lot of people come to mindset talks because they need motivation. I've worked with, and I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in a second after this, but I've had so many people over the years that have come to work with me and they say, I'm here for motivation, coach. I'm like, well, there's the door, because I can't help you with that. That's not what I do. I don't motivate. If you're looking for someone to motivate you, good luck. You're probably just going to get sold something that's going to wear off or wear out as soon as your energy wears off, and that's it. Has anyone ever been to Tony Robbins? Yeah, one? Which one did you go to?
Oh my God, it was the one last year here in Toronto.
Yeah, like this big date.
It was really like 7 other people and then him.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was the second half.
Yeah, cool.
Unleash your power within it.
Yeah. Does anyone here know who Tony Robbins is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Has anyone read any of his books?
Yes. Yep.
Good. I've pretty much read all of his books. I am actually like a fan of his work. However, his presentations and workshops are really just to motivate you and then sell you something. I don't have anything for sale today other than information and knowledge and experience, okay? Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so who am I? My name is Gaetan, which is like Gaetano without the O, because everyone seems to know the Italian version and not the French version. Essentially, I'm a human performance coach. So by trade, I'm a kinesiologist, actually. So everyone knows, I'm sure, what that is. I don't have to explain that. Does anyone not know what that is? It's basically an expert in the human body and movement. I'm also a strength and conditioning coach. I'm a sports nutrition coach / expert. I'm a mindset coach and co-founder of a company called Strong Athlete, which has been a part of helping putting some of this event together. Okay? Essentially, all that means is I help people become the best version of themselves. That's what I do for a living, okay? I work primarily with high-performance athletes, but I also work with the parents of athletes. That seems to become a very common thing where I work with the athlete, and the parents are like, what is that you're doing? And my kid is responding, and like, can I do a little bit of that? Most people come to me with an issue or a problem. They come to me with an injury, they come to me with something they've been dealing with, and it's almost always that way. I would say 98% of my business is referral, because someone said, hey, you're dealing with that, go see this guy. And because of that, I've kind of had to build a system, and this is an integrated system of how I approach working with someone new. You can see it's a circle, it's not a line, and even though there's numbers, which I really think I should take those numbers out, they're not in any priority or hierarchy necessarily, okay? And all this is basically, it's a wheel of assessment. So when I have someone who comes in and wants to talk with me or needs my help, I kind of interview them, not kind of, I interview them and I assess them in all of these areas, because all of these areas are areas that I believe that I'm pretty knowledgeable in. And if anything is outside my scope in one area, like super extreme, I will refer out to other experts that I know in that area. So you kind of know what you know, and then you know what you don't know, and you recognize that, you know what, your neck is really twisted, I don't touch that. You go get the neck put back in line, and then we'll strengthen and fix it. But for most people, this little guy right here on the right-hand side is where I see most people struggling. Do any of you guys here coaches or trainers? There's a couple of seats right here, guys. Okay, let me ask again. Anyone here not a coach or trainer? Okay, so pretty much everyone here is a coach or trainer. So you guys work with clients? Yes? Okay, so there's two parts of this conversation today. One part is for you as a human being, and the second part is how you can start to think and apply some of this stuff to your own clients. Okay? So once I go through this assessment, and just to go quickly, strategy is kind of like how people approach things. Very simple. Standards is the quality that you do anything. For me, it's like if I'm not at the highest quality, I'm not going to do it. If I can't do it at the highest level, I won't take it on. New mindset is obvious. Where is their mind relative to what's going on in their life? Skill building is like personal growth, learning. So again, I work with a lot of high-level athletes that play specific sports. So let's say I have one of my baseball kids is in town. He plays NCAA baseball in the US, obviously because the NCAA isn't in Canada. You know, and we were talking about his baseball swing the other day. And how is he working on that or that personal growth? If you don't have, is anyone here train athletes? Okay, most people train like general pop. So personal growth and learning is very important. Does anyone know, and the people that I've coached in the past, try not to answer unless, you know. Does anyone know what two things in life give you fulfillment? Anyone? There's two things that we can do in life that actually give us fulfillment. Fast cars, money, purses, trips. No? What's that? Family? Nope. Sorry? Good. So personal growth is one, right? That's what you're doing right now. So believe it or not, you're going to get fulfillment out of this weekend. Anyone know what the second one is?
I guess skill building?
That's personal growth. Same thing. So it would be contribution to others. So here's the cool thing. In this room right now, I'm getting fulfilled because I'm contributing to you, and you're getting fulfilled because you're growing. How amazing is this room?
Awesome.
Right? It's pretty awesome, right? Let me be very clear on one thing. What I talk about today is my opinion and based on my own experiences. You could take this information and walk out of the room and be like, that was bullshit. Or you could be like, there's something there for me to look into. Okay? So what I'm saying isn't necessarily the absolute right, but it's based on my experience. Cool? And all of the things we talk about, I don't want to say are my original ideas. I don't think there is really much of an original idea anymore. It's the culmination of hundreds of books that I've read, workshops like this that I've been through, and really case studies of working with people. That has been a huge thing for me. Actually working with people and seeing people and meeting people and seeing all kinds of problems and challenges. That's what this is built on. Sound good? Okay. All right, the power of the mind as it relates to elite human performance is an area that has yet to be fully realized and truly harnessed. I think there's a huge opportunity to break through on that, and I think the reason why it hasn't been, it's hard to measure. Has anyone heard the sentence of what gets measured gets done, or what gets done gets measured, that kind of thing? It's hard to measure the mind, unless you have very sophisticated technology to do that, right? So I think this is an area of opportunity that we can really expand on. Based on my experience, and I've worked with athletes of all levels, pretty much you name it, and you pretty much name the sport, I've been fortunate enough to work with someone in that sport. I haven't worked with any like super celebrity athletes that you might know, but to me they're all celebrities and they're all amazing. And at the highest level of performance, your ability to perform now is 80% psychological and 20% mechanical action means physical. So when you get to work with athletes that start at a young age, they're so new and they're green, and they start to develop and develop, and they go up levels and levels, and they get promoted or they get drafted or they keep going up. And the conversation we always have is, as you get to the highest level, your ability is no longer special. What usually gets you up a level is like you're talented, you're skilled, you're faster, you're stronger, you're this, you're that. And then you go play at the highest level and now you're average. So how are you gonna break through and be better? Now, pretty much all you guys are trainers. Does anyone here consider himself a coach, or they consider themselves a trainer? So if you consider yourself a coach, put your hand up. If you consider yourself a trainer, put your hand up. Good. I like that. So we are all, as trainers, coaches, because you guys all know that you deal with coaching your people, whether it's training or something they're dealing with. They come and they tell you, right? They share those conversations with you, right? So helping them to understand that their mindset in their everyday life is what's going to help them get to the next level. Make sense? Okay. And I believe basically in the next 10 years, the greatest breakthroughs in human performance are going to come from mindset developments and no longer physical stuff. I mean, how many training books can we read? How many times can we actually manipulate the nervous system and this training modality and that? It's getting exhausting. It's just regurgitated information taken from the original stuff. And if any of you guys came and saw me train my athletes, you'd be like, well, that's not Instagrammable. That's not YouTube worthy, because it's not sexy, it's not fancy, it's basics. We do basic movements with our athletes and we develop incredible athletes. It doesn't have to be complicated to be good. Cool? Okay. Mindset is important to help people focus on what's most important, and we're going to talk today about a variety of strategies, but it's all about performing at the highest level and at the right time. So these conferences are great. You're going to all come here, you're going to learn all kinds of great information. You guys, everyone here for both days, most of you? Yeah, you're going to go home Sunday night, you're going to be kind of pumped, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to crash, and then Monday you're going to be like, who's got clients on Monday? Who's training people on Monday? Yeah, you're going to go right back into the mix, and a lot of this stuff is going to I'll get back to that when I have a minute, right? But I'm just saying that this conversation I'm starting with you, I challenge you to continue it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Start sharing this conversation with yourself and start testing it with other people, friends, family, and clients. Okay. First question of the day. Do you control your thoughts? Put your hands up if you control your thoughts. Go ahead. Put your hand up if you don't control your thoughts. Put your hand up if you have no thoughts, because that's most people right now. Put your hand up if you don't know how to answer the question.
I feel like most of the time.
What's that?
I feel like most of the time I control my thoughts. But
Okay.
there's the odd time that it's going where it wants to go.
Okay. Okay.
There's different levels of thoughts.
Good. Good.
You can't control what you can't control.
Good. So it's a bit of a trick question in the sense of you can interpret it in different ways to answer the question. But the way I asked it, I didn't ask if you control what you do with your thoughts and control how you think. I'm talking about the thoughts that show up in your head constantly. Do you control those? You don't. What pops in your head is beyond your control. And anyone who has control of that, stick around after and explain it to me, because I haven't been able to figure that one out. Okay? If you don't control the thoughts that show up in your head, because if I did, I'd probably be, hear me out, let me finish the sentence, in jail, only for doing something ridiculous like driving my car super fast or doing something really crazy. Like you see some cash at the bank and you're just like, everyone's had that thought. I hope I'm not alone on that one. But we have all kinds of crazy thoughts. Whatever your thoughts are, you don't have to share them. But we don't really control what pops in our head. Fair? Okay. What do we control then? We control two things, in my opinion. How you prepare. Okay? So, again, we're fortunate enough to work with a lot of different athletes that perform. You guys also perform. Every time you're working with a client, you have to perform, yeah? Does anyone here actually compete in anything? What do you compete in? Powerlifting? Nice. What do you compete in? Other than being late? I'm joking. You still play?
My stomach would.
You're good. Get comfortable. You haven't missed everything yet. Anyone else? You still compete? What do you compete in? Rowing? Amazing. We talk about this with our athletes, but this is relevant to everybody. So you control how you prepare. So you have a big powerlifting meet, yeah? You only control how you prepare for that meet. I'll ask you kind of a weird question. Do you control if you win or lose?
No.
Good. So do you control outcomes? No? Good. You could sit here and argue with me like, well, if I trained hard and I did everything I could do, then I'm going to win. Then you haven't been an athlete long enough, if you think that way. And that doesn't mean we go to lose, but with all my athletes, everyone I work with, we don't prepare or train for outcomes. We train for preparation, right? It's like if someone comes in, does anyone here do weight loss with people? Yeah, weight loss is pretty common. I don't do too much of that anymore, fortunately, because I'm not an expert in weight loss, I would say. There's people better than me at that. But if it's always about the end goal, people don't get there, they quit. It has to be about like the process of it, than about the end of it. If you don't enjoy the process, you're not going to get to the end. Okay? And what we're really all been talking about today a lot is behaviors, modifying behavior. Okay, that's what we're really going to get into a little bit as we talk about this. Okay, so you control how you prepare. What's the other thing you control? Anyone?
How you react.
Attitude?
Or how you react to your thoughts.
Yeah, okay, both same, right? Okay, how you respond. That's it. Really simple stuff, right? But it's effective stuff. It's stuff you can start thinking this way, and I'm telling you, it'll take off a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. If you're always focused on your outcome, you're going to be crushed. Because as soon as you fail, then you're done. You're no good. But you didn't control that. Did you prepare? So with all my high-level athletes, I always tell them in advance, the day of their event, game, competition, whatever, I always ask them one question. Given the realities and circumstances of your life, did you do everything you could to prepare for this? That's it. And if the answer is yes, then go do you. If it's no, then like we really need to reassess. And notice how I said given the realities and circumstances of your life? Because again, if you've ever worked clients, athletes, anyone, people get sick, people get hurt, ups and downs, drama, you broke up with your boyfriend, females like, you're on your period, it comes right before the event, all kinds of stuff we deal with, right? You can't control any of that stuff, so do your best to prepare. Cool? All right. Okay. This is the foundation of my mindset coaching principles. You guys can still see? You just get a big shot of my giant head? Okay.
I can kind of,
Yeah, you can see through my head?
I can guess for the first one.
Okay, good. So this is obviously what? It's a timeline. Really simple. Anyone who works with me, the first day we sit down, more or less, after we've done an assessment, this is what we talk about. Usually the 10th day, we talk about this. The 60th day, we talk about this. The 100th day, we talk about this. Meaning, this conversation never goes away. I had this conversation 2 days ago with an athlete I've been coaching for 7 years. And every time I said, they're like, yes. Okay, here's a weird question. When do you exist? Sorry? Now? Who said now?
Always.
Yeah? It's not fair, you work with me. Always? Okay. Do you exist tomorrow?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Potentially.
It's an existential question.
It is. I said it's a weird question, right? We could debate it all day. Fair? And I would say we're all right. Everyone is right. Okay? In my opinion, you exist now. Do you exist yesterday? Well, you did, but you're not currently existing yesterday. And you don't exist tomorrow because that hasn't come yet. So you exist now. And why I'm talking about this is you're going to see. Okay, a lot of people, though, commonly exist in the future or the past. Does everyone here know what a state is? meaning like your state of mind, or I like to say your state of being. Can anyone give an example of a state? Yeah?
Like in a high frequency state,
Okay.
an I can state. So if you're in a high competitive
So
level,
make it a simple answer. So motivated, energized.
I'll take those, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Anyone else? Yeah.
People are in a languishing state.
What?
Languishing.
Yeah. Fear, excitement, joy, sadness. Yeah. These are all states. Yeah. Okay. So if you live in the past, what state do you think people mostly live in when they live in the past? Any idea?
Regret.
Regret? Who said that? Nice. Props. Exchange numbers if you don't, because you guys have more to talk about. That's a sign from above. Okay. Anyone other than regret?
Well, I've worked with people who are reliving past time, like great experiences.
Great experiences? Yeah?
Not just ruminating in the past with bad things, but
Good.
yeah.
Good. And I'll talk about that in a second. Thanks for bringing that up. Okay. Most people, when they live in the past, they live in self-doubt. Most people. Very common. And this, again, is based on my experiences of working with people. Most, like, this guy doesn't remember the goal he scored to win the game. He remembers the time he tripped on the blue line when he had a big chance. It's almost like we're so programmed to remember our failures, right, versus our successes. Like that lift that I missed on that one competition, oh, it's friggin' plaguing me. And then, of course, as a mindset coach, we want to get you into remembering the good stuff. But we keep defaulting to that, okay? What about the future? When we live in the future, what state do we live in? Anxious? Anything else? What's that? Yeah? Anyone else?
Is that hope?
Hope, yeah. You guys didn't say it together again? Oh, you guys get on the same page here, come on. I always like to see, or I see often anxiety and fear. And that's the what if. What if, you know, the ball gets friggin' volleyed to me and I stumble? What if I fall on stage? What if I trip? What if the bar crushes me? What if? That is a thought. Again, remember we said that you don't control your thoughts at the beginning? Those are thoughts that just keep popping in your head, right? It's not like you're controlling that. It's not like you're a negative person. It just keeps popping into your head. Okay? Can anyone relate to these? 100%. Are we all on the same page right now? Is anyone like, I'm not feeling this? Okay, good. So we're all on the same page. Okay. When you live in the present, any idea what state?
Content.
Okay. Content? Who said that? Good. You're a trainer? You ever compete in sports?
I used to do bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding? Okay. Tell me the time that you were content with your physique.
Never.
Right.
I kind of say intent.
What's that?
Like
Intensity? Good.
Focus.
Focus? Good.
Flow.
Flow?
Probably a combination, past and future.
What's that?
Combination of the past and future, self-doubt, anxiety, fear.
Yeah? Okay.
I don't
Here.
think anyone's ever had that.
I'm going to make this real simple. You'll see, guys, that I am a very simple-minded person. I'm not a simpleton, though, okay? Choice. Choice exists in the present. Because, can you control yesterday? No. We talked earlier about, do you control the outcome if you win or lose? And we pretty much all agreed that we don't control that. So then can you control tomorrow? Good. But you can control right now. If you wanted to get up and walk out of here because you don't like this, you could do that. Omar won't let you leave, but you could try. That's why I have him there. You have the choice. So again, you don't control the thought, but you control what you do with it. Like how you respond, how you behave. If you want to be happy, you could start just thinking happy, being happy. Do something that makes you happy right now. Okay? So I'm big on this because I always want to bring people back to the present, because now in the present, I have some sort of sense of control. And we can debate all day long whether control is a real thing or not. And you'd be right if you said no, and you'd be right if you said yes. Fair? But you have choice. And for me, it's all about choice. Okay? Just out of respect, and you brought this up. What's your name?
Paul.
Paul. Paul brought this up, and this isn't something I used to keep in the presentation, but it's funny. Like last year I added this into my talk, and it's a good thing that he called me out. You can also talk about and think about achievement in the past. It's not all negative. I just want to always see there's always both sides to everything. Because sometimes I do with my athletes, I'll make them do an achievement list when they're really struggling, and you can do this with a client. You know, like when you first walked in here and I asked you to squat, you were like, you had no idea what that even looked like. Now you can actually squat. Your whole goal was to do 1 pull-up. So you can't do 10 yet, but you can do 1. You lost 7 pounds, whatever. Like, it's okay to make an achievement list. The past isn't so bad. And then in the future, we have something called possibility, which I'm a big believer in. Possibility exists, like it's unknown. You can do whatever you want with it. Of course, that comes from what you do in the present, but there's possibility in the future. Sound good? Okay, has everyone got this? Because if you just take this drawn exactly like this out of this presentation, then it's been worth your time. Because everything I do revolves. Everyone's struggling with something, I'm like, okay, come, let me get you to the present. Okay? Any idea a technique that I use to get people in the present? It's a pretty obvious one, but I'm sure most of you would pick it up.
Breathing.
What kind of breathing?
Deep breathing.
Yeah? Do you ever use breathing with people?
Yeah.
Yeah? And how do you approach it? Is there a certain technique that you do?
Just, yeah, like a full exhale, like a 4-6 kind of ratio.
Yeah.
Deep inhale.
Yeah.
Exhale.
Good. I love it. We use like box breathing. You know what box breathing is? So it's basically like 5, 5, 5, 5. I'm sure if you haven't heard, basically what that means is you inhale for 5 seconds, you hold that for 5 seconds, you exhale for 5 seconds, and you hold it out for 5 seconds, and you repeat it. I'm huge on breathing. Breathing is something I actually teach as part of my practice, because if you can't breathe, you can't do anything, right? And if you get someone like a client, like a general pop, and you tell them to take a deep breath, it's like, no, like a deep, that is your deep breath, that's a sign for you right there. You need to spend some time on that. And then as people get more comfortable with me and I start to explain them, I'll get them into meditation, which is just basically focused breathing, and it helps you get present. So we use meditation as a tool to help people learn how to get present. Sound good? Okay. So I would say the power you seek is hidden in your now. Bringing people to the now will help them get clear and will give them choice. And with choice we have what? Any idea? Power. So looking at people and seeing, are they empowered or are they disempowered? Most people that start with a new, like a client that you start with that's new, they come in, they're disempowered. They're frustrated, they're out of shape, they're unhealthy, they're disempowered, they're vulnerable. So in my opinion, you have to have good ethics to see how you deal with those people. I mean, like, I could sell this person 100 sessions right now because they're just shit out of their luck, right? They're vulnerable. Don't abuse that, okay? All right, your power exists now. We get the point. Okay, let's talk about behavior, because ultimately, this all boils down to behavior. Mindset, in my opinion, is translated with behavior. You guys all want to change behaviors, right? You train clients?
Yeah.
Okay. Average. How many sessions per week does a client do with you? Average.
2 or 3.
2? 3 is average?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay. Who here has average of 2 to 3 of the same person per week? Okay, what about less? Okay. Because I work with a whole bunch of different people, I get a mix. I get people that come and see me like once a month, maybe because they live somewhere else. I get people that come see me once a week because that's all they can afford. I have people that come and see me 5 times a week because they're home from their hockey team or whatever and they're off-season training. Meaning, in reality, we control such a small window of behavior. I used to have the math. I don't have the math at the top of my head, but if you do the math of how many hours in a week and someone sees you, let's say for 3, that's peanuts. And then they want to get a result, and then they leave you and they go stop at McDonald's on the way home and whatever and eat their chips while they watch whatever. You want to help them change behavior, you have to help them to get in the mindset of behavior. And you'd be surprised, everyone gets stumped. And then what do they write? Anyone guess? What do they start writing? honesty, family, integrity, like shit you saw written on a postcard or something somewhere, or on someone's like in their kitchen on those motivational things, right? I'm like, really? That's really what's important to you? Family aside, I mean, even when people put family, I'm like, what does that even mean to you? It's just like a throwaway term, my family. Yeah, but like, when was the last time you went and saw your mom? When was the last time you really like did something good for your family? Is it really that important to you? Because for most of us who are adults, like you got a career going on. I mean, you have your own families, but like it's such like it has to be narrowed down. So we've got to get into the values because what's important to you is what you will do. People don't eat better because it's really not important enough to them. It's not. Like they might say it, but it's not. If it's really important, you'll do it. Trust me. Any one of you right now, if you had an emergency and like someone called you that's really close to you and you had to get out of here and you had to drive 3 hours, you would go. You would, because they're that important to you. So helping people to establish what's important to them and literally write it out and write it down so they can see it, because now it's real. Now they have to own that. Okay? And we spend like a whole hour on this and then the next day. So I'm like, make a list of 20. What? I can't even write 3. 20. And then we'll narrow it down to 5.
You have examples?
Examples of what values would be? Sure. Do you want to hear some of my personal values?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So one of my values is close relationships. Okay? I don't have kids. I have a fiance, but I don't have kids. But like Omar's one of my brothers, my coworkers, like really close relationships. I get emotional because I love them, right?
I started working with him 3 months ago, and so the first day I walked in, he gives me a hug every single day. I'm like, don't you want a hug? This guy gives me a hug every day. Like, oh, he's hugging back, okay. So now, like, I don't leave the gym without hugging you.
Yeah, man, you know. I'll hug every one of you before you leave if you want. And I'm not a weirdo. I just love people. One of my other values is making a positive contribution to others. That's a value to me. That's why I'm standing here in front of you. And lo and behold, I get more and more opportunities to do that, right? Another value of me is personal growth and development. I love learning. I love reading books. And I'm not one of these people that will lie to you and say, you need to read 42 books a year and blah, blah, blah. Man, like Omar turned me on to a book a couple months ago, Dr. Joe Dispenza, if any of you know who that is. I've had like 3 of his books. I have like a crazy library at my house, and I've had it and I haven't got into it. And like, man, I've been reading that book for 3 months. Front to back, inside and out, turn it upside down, read a page. Like, I just get immersed in that, right? And then free time is one of my values too. Free time to do the things I want to do other than this, to recharge for myself. Because I am by nature an introvert. And it's good that you should find out what your people are, introvert, extrovert, because that's how you talk to them, right? Like after this, people are like, I'm going with my friends and drink tonight. I'm like, I need to go and read a book and hang out with just like 2 or 3 people. Okay? So those are some examples of values. But like, oh, and the obvious one, health, well-being, and performance for me. Because I want to niche that. If I just say health, if someone just puts health, you have to qualify them and ask them, what does that even mean? And every value that someone puts, you have to qualify it. What does that mean? Someone writes health. Okay, health is just the absence of disease. That's what you want? No, I want to flourish. I want to thrive. I want to be amazing. Good. Now, at least when you see that word, you know what it means. Same with family, like we just said. Qualify it. Does that make sense? Some people, it's like financial security. Great. What does that look like? Tell me what the numbers are. Again, these are just mindset things that you can work with people, okay? But let me go backwards. So I said values, right? Values are huge. And now, remember, I told you I'm starting a conversation with you today because this conversation will not end here. This is not even the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. And I'm really supposed to only have another 10 minutes, but if you guys have to leave. I might keep talking because I just want to keep sharing. And if you have to leave, I'm not upset. I'm not insulted. and I want to respect people's time, but they want us to cut it off, but I can keep talking. Is that okay with some of you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. See this little guy right here? I discovered this about 8 years ago, and it's completely changed everything that I do. Everything. Because people's deep-rooted beliefs drive their behavior. Okay? So if I had a thing I would draw right now, I would draw like basically an upside down triangle, okay? And at the bottom of that triangle is behavior. Or let's flip it. A normal triangle, okay? Just so we don't get confused. At the top of that triangle, the tip is behavior. We all want to modify behavior, right? You're not in a mindset talk to go and take mindset to just sit there and zen out. You actually want to turn that into something. Am I right? That's what mindset's all about. How can I take this and use it to work, make these things work and go do something? So behavior is at the top. At the bottom of that period, which is the biggest area, is personality. Okay? And I won't even ask the question, I'll just tell you, personality is pretty much impossible to change, so don't bother. Right? Like, let's be honest, like, I'm an introvert, I'm never gonna be an extrovert. Someone's like bubbly and fun, you know those people? They're always like that. Even when they're tired, they're like that. Like, where do you get that energy from? Right? So knowing your personality is key for your clients. Why? Because you have to speak their language. Right? So like even when I present, I try sometimes to talk a little slower because some people talk slower. And then I start talking really fast because some people talk really fast. And if I'm talking fast all the time, then they'll be paying attention. But if I talk slow all the time, they'll be like, oh my God, buddy, just get it out. You know what I'm talking about, right? So you got to know the language, right? Are you a fast or slow talker? Fast? I'm surprised you're still sitting here. I haven't been talking that fast.
Stand up a lot.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you got to speak the language, right? Anyway, that's personality. On top of personality, beliefs. Beliefs are what you believe to be true. And I'm going to give you a ton of examples in a second. On top of beliefs, we just talked about it, is values. And then on top of values is behavior, right? So I'm kind of going backwards for you guys. Because I think values is really important. And values is something you can turn the key on like Monday. You can just ask, hey, what's important to you? What are your values? And I would actually probably ask it more like, what's important to you? Instead of using the word values. Because I see you say values is like, yeah, integrity, honesty, family. Like, as if someone's watching them and like, what are they going to really say?
Basically you're saying values are built on top of beliefs.
Yes. Yes. So the personality is, and again, these are my opinions, okay? You're born with the personality. Who here has kids? Okay. Would you say that when your kid was born, people would be like, oh, they have a personality of like, you could see their personality on their face.
Totally.
Have you heard that? Yeah. Some people like don't even name their kids until they come out. Because they're like, I don't know, because as soon as I see them, like their personality will tell me their name, right? Okay, because you're just programmed that way. Then, you start to develop beliefs. Any idea what age beliefs are developed in? 2 to 3 years?
I think it's a bit older than that.
Okay, any idea?
It's always
I'm sure
being
it's around
developed.
6.
What's that?
I'm sure it's around 6.
Okay,
I think it's always being developed
okay.
based on your open-mindedness.
He said it's always being developed. Anyone else? Okay, based on my experience, do you guys know the difference between chronological age and biological age? Does anyone use that with their people? Okay, so because I work with athletes mostly, you really have to understand that. What that basically means is chronological age is like you're a 96, meaning you were born in 96, so you're whatever. I'm not even going to do the math because my head hurts right now. But you're whatever, 20 or whatever. But you have the body. So let's say you're 21 years old. But you have the body of a 28-year-old. And this happens at a young age, right? So like think of like 13, right? Girls are usually stronger than boys at 13 because they mature faster, right? So this is how like drafts and selections get done in sports, because this kid's 13, but he has the body of an 18-year-old. And there's another 13-year-old and they have the body of like a 9-year-old. Sorry about your luck. And that's just like genetics, right? Or that's just evolution. So biological age is like you're more mature or less mature than your age, and chronological age is you are your age. Okay? So we'll use chronological age in this point, and I would say between ages of 7 to 12 or 13 is the window. That's a huge window of building deep-rooted beliefs. Because I think until you get to around 7, your awareness and consciousness of really what's going on might not be there. Like you can talk and you function, but like that deep-rooted thing, okay? So does anyone know what, there's consciousness and subconsciousness. Anyone know the difference? Yeah, on a very simple answer.
Yeah, the subconscious is subjective, where the conscious is objective.
Okay, good.
So anything our subconscious hears, there's no barrier, there's nothing blocking it.
Good. Let me take his intelligent answer and give you my like not so intelligent answer, because most people I work with aren't as sophisticated as that, but they're really good at like hitting you. Your consciousness is what you know. And you might want to write this down, because I think this is really important. Your consciousness is what you know. Like, hey, I know I should eat better. I know I should quit smoking. Anyone know anyone like that? I know I should go to the gym, but they don't. Your subconscious, in my opinion, is what you do. So your consciousness is what you know. You have all the knowledge in your conscious. It's all available to you. I don't care though. I always tell my people, I don't give a shit of what you know. I only care about what you do. Zero. I zero care about what you know. I just care about what you do. Because at the end of that's all that matters. Right? So beliefs get, why did I bring it up? Beliefs get programmed where?
7 to 12 years.
Say that louder.
7 to 12 years.
No, where now? In your subconscious. Right? I have a funny little thing, and if you ever want to try this, experiment with it. I'm curious if I'm the only weirdo that this works for. I'll be having conversation. A lot of people like coach. I just coach on mindset. I didn't really explain that. I got people that I don't even touch physically in the gym. They're all over the world, and we just have like a call a week, for example. And we just talk about mindset, what's going on, help them develop strategies, behavior stuff. I have a number of clients that I work with just on that. Some people call it life coaching, which I think is stupid, and it doesn't mean anything to me. It's just performance coaching, really, is what it is. So I'm pretty good now at knowing when someone's consciousness is speaking to me or their subconscious. Here's a test. Ready? Especially with some driven behavioral, and they start talking fast, and you're like, oh, and you hear like something that comes out that's really driving what they're doing. Ask them, say, stop. What did you just say? And what do you think they say? Any idea? They don't know. They're like, I can't remember. Like, you just said it. That's what I just said.
What did you just say?
You just said it. Like, that's how close it was. They cannot repeat it. Or they try to repeat it, but like the key words are gone. The words that create action and drive, they're gone. They try to fill it with something else. It's not the same meaning. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you're struggling with, because that's your belief. Interesting? It'll take you a while to master that one, but trust, every time I do it, I'm like, whoa, it's crazy cool. And then you show them, and they're like, I just said that? And they're like, yeah, you just said that. That's why you keep defaulting to whatever you're defaulting to. Okay? Interesting? Cool? I freaking love this shit, so I don't know. Okay. Again, if it's important to you, make it happen. I already said that. Let's rewind for 1 second. That screen's too white for me. Okay. Let's go back to beliefs. Let me give you some questions that you can ask people to help drill down, because I think that's really relevant. It's 12:31 or 12:30 now. I was supposed to be done at 12:30. I'm going to keep talking. You are more than welcome to leave. Okay? Fair? Okay.
My question is, how long are you going to keep talking?
Like an hour? No. 15 minutes.
when we finish, anyone can just go down back to room 105. Prep kitchen's gonna be there. They'll be selling meals, so you don't have to like leave the facility. They just eat here. But anyway, just an option for anyone who wants some food.
Cool.
Back to room 105.
Okay. Okay, here's my favorite one. I was asking actually last week. What's your belief about healthy food?
What's my belief?
Yeah, what's your belief about healthy food?
Makes you feel good while you're eating.
Okay, does she sound pretty sure?
No.
What does that tell me? That's not her real belief. That's like, oh, there's some people in this room. He's putting him on the spot. Healthy food is good. It's good for you. I better answer that. You see her tuck the chocolate bar into her bag? Did you see that? No, I'm joking. She doesn't have a chocolate bar. Does she sound sure? No. So why would we do something like called drilling down? Ever heard that term? Yeah? Yeah? Drilling down is like, sorry, what was your belief about healthy food?
I don't know what I
See, doesn't even know.
makes you feel good while you're eating it, which is not.
See, which is not, right, so I might need a month to get the answer out of her. Literally.
If you took all the people in the room and asked her, you'd do much better.
Sorry, say again?
All the people out of the room
Yeah,
and asked her, I think you'd do much better.
guaranteed, guaranteed. I'm putting you on the spot. Thanks for being a good sport. I have to ask the question many, many, many times until, I know it sounds bad, but until I'm satisfied. And you know how I know I'm satisfied? The answer matches the behavior. If the answer doesn't match the behavior, it's bullshit. Okay? I work with one kid, he's like a MMA fighter, and he's fairly new working with me. And he has a hard time, like, he can cut weight, but like being lean and eating well all year round, he eats like shit. Because he grew up in a family where they eat like shit. So I know his program. So what do you think his belief about healthy food is? Anyone?
You only need it when you're training.
Okay.
Or it's an end to a meal.
Wait, stop. Actually, we're gonna hold that for 1 second. Don't treat him like an MMA fighter. Treat him like a general pop person. Any idea? Because this is what it really came down to. So what did you say?
It's the means to an end.
Good.
Backwards, but it's the means to an end, or like it's a way to get to a goal.
Okay, so the first time I asked him the question, he said, it's fuel for your body to perform. I was like, let me write that down. That sounded really good. Did you Google that? Because that's probably the definition of it in like any sports nutrition manual. It's a fuel for your body to perform. I was like, huh, good. So you only use it when you have to cut weight or make weight? Yeah, and you're fucking miserable doing it. Yeah, I hate it. I'm like, So how does your body perform for you when you're not in fight camp? He's hurt all the time, he's breaking down, because he didn't like shit, right? What do you think the answer really was? After like a couple of weeks, he gave me the real answer.
I hate it.
Hard work.
Healthy food doesn't taste good. There's your answer. Thank you. That was your answer. Healthy food doesn't taste good. Okay, we can work with that. Healthy food can taste good. It doesn't have to be, God forbid, don't ever program fucking brown rice, broccoli, and chicken breast for people. Don't ever. If any of you guys do nutrition and that's your programming, man, most people have super gut inflammation from broccoli and from brown rice, and they're sick of chicken. Like, come on, guys, be a little more creative with that. But that was the end of the conversation. And now we start to like, okay, I want you to get whatever. I give a whole bunch of things like coconut aminos because he likes Asian style food, right? You know, nutritional yeast, like here's like sugar-free barbecue sauce that's sweetened with dates instead of shitty sugar, right? Like we started to come up like, I didn't need to give him like, call it the macros, you know, chicken, sweet potato, greens. I didn't need to give him that. I need to give him like the condiments. That's it. He got the condiments. He comes like next day, he's like, oh, coach, I tried this. I tried that coconut amino shit you were talking about. It tastes like soy sauce. I'm like, I know, right? And he's eating, he's loving it. And just like that, it switched. Just like that. Because we start to get down to the belief. When you get to the belief, now you have an opportunity to recreate it. Okay? Everyone still good with time? Okay. Let me just clarify and preface one major thing. To change a belief is super hard. I'll say that again. To change a belief is super hard. Do you know how a belief gets programmed and imprinted into your subconscious? Say that again. Good, that's part of it. Anything else? What's that? Experience, okay. Anyone know what kind of creatures we are? Habit. What else? What other kind of creatures we are?
Social repetition.
Okay, social. What also ties into being social? Any idea? Sorry? Good. And all of this is supporting what it's coming to. Just looking for the term. Anyone else? We are emotional creatures. Super emotional creatures. I'm an emotional guy. I cry half the time when I present. If you get me to start talking about one of my athletes, I'll cry. I'm not joking. Look, I'm crying, I'm tearing up. I'm literally not joking. I will start to because I'm emotional about it, because I love them. Right? Okay, so now, switch. How do you get a belief? You tie repetition or exposure with emotion, and it gets programmed. You cannot recreate a belief without repetition and emotion. So if I just sit here and okay, this is my favorite. Who's ever heard this idea of just think positively? Yeah?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, if your thoughts, they can create your feelings, and then
Sure.
those two can equal actions. So if you
Sure.
think positive thoughts,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Don't ever tell someone just think positively.
it's a blanket statement.
Right. So some of you guys who are in the know, you're like, okay, there's a way that could work. But for most people, I hate when I hear that. And when I go to events and my athletes are competing and I hear another coach okay, positive thinking. It's oh man. Or my favorite is before a big competition. Do you have a coach when you powerlift?
Yeah.
You don't need to name names. What's that?
I handle myself.
Okay. When you're on deck,
Yeah.
do you ever have a coach there with you?
No, I like to be alone.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for ruining that. No, I'm joking. So,
I know what you're getting at.
yeah. So I use you because you're an individual sport athlete. Do you row on a team or individual? On a team or both? Okay. So again, I work with a lot of fighters and powerlifters and stuff. And I love it when I hear the coach just relax. Right? Have you ever had a coach tell you that? About to go play a big game, about to go lift, just relax. Right? Another stupid cue. What do you like to do to relax? Don't have to get too personal, but.
Eat a tub of ice cream.
Yeah, right? I like to, honestly, I love movies. Sit on the couch, watch a movie, eat something not so healthy, but made with healthy ingredients. I'll make pizza from the best farmed, geeked out ingredients I can find, but it's still pizza. That's relaxing. I'm about to fight this guy and you want me to relax? I don't see a couch, and unless you got pizza, that's the wrong cue. That's the wrong cue. So why am I saying that? Because the belief will determine everything. My belief around that word is specific. So again, recreating beliefs is now going to require a combination of thoughts and emotion. You can dig up people's beliefs. So I asked one of my guys, the guy we're talking about with the nutrition, when did that thought start for you? Can you think of a moment in your life, and it's hard and it takes time, you'll never get the right answer the first time, of when you were eating something or someone told you healthy food doesn't taste good, or you ate something that someone gave you and said it was healthy and you spit it out because it tasted like shit to you. Like, when did that happen? Because it happened. Something happened to create that. And there was an emotional experience around that. You find that, you change the belief, no problem. Because now they know where that came from. Right? One of my baseball kids that I coach, when he was 9, and this guy is right now is an MLB prospect, legit. When he was 9, he's not a pitcher, but he was pitching. When they're younger, they kind of play every position just to get experience. He pitched like a no-hitter, perfect game. He came out, he was so pumped, and it took us like a while to pull this story out, and he finally told me the story one day. He's like, I'm going to play for the Toronto Blue Jays one day. I'm going to play professional baseball. What do you think his dad said to him? And his dad's a great guy. The chances of you playing pro baseball are really low. That's literally what his dad said to him. This kid is pumped, through the moon, right? Emotional. And then his dad said, he loves, his dad is his God, right? He looks up to him. It's his be all and end all. And his dad is a great guy. His dad's not a jerk. And trust me, I've seen a lot of jerk hockey and sports parents. Trust me. I actually coach the parents before the kids. Like, if the parents not on the same page, and the kid won't be on the same. So anyways, the kid programmed that he was not good enough to play professional baseball. How many years did he play with that?
Since 9.
From 9 till he was like 18. Till it finally came up. Now he's like, you don't have to think that way anymore. You can recreate it. What did we say exists in the present? Do I need to go back?
Choice.
Good. You can choose now to think differently and to recreate that emotion. Right? So, my big point here is, if you don't have a beliefs conversation with someone who you want to change their behavior will never change. And again, I'm not telling you to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist. You're not trying to talk about any abuse or anything they've had in their life, because that's not in our scope, just to be clear. But their experience around food, their experience about training, their experience about exercise. For the longest time, when I was a kid, it's 12:43. 2 more minutes? Yeah, you want to hear my story?
Yeah.
What's that?
Take your time.
Okay, you want to hear my story? When I was a kid, I was fat. From 9 till about 15, I was a fat kid. And I was embarrassed. And I got into training. And I used training to punish myself. Essentially. Right? And I held that for so long. And so many people use training to punish themselves, not to build themselves up, not to grow, not to get better. You start to have that conversation with somebody, everything changes. It's like, why do you work out and eat well? For most people, Jordan, you're gonna love it. You know this conversation. We've talked about this she works with clients as well. The deep truth, I eat well and work out because I fucking hate my body and I want to change it. That's most people. That is most people that are in the gym right now. And that's why they quit. That's why they don't last. I've been training since I was 13. I don't want to tell you guys how old I am. I'm 40 now. And I've been training. I've probably missed no more than a week in that time frame. Because now I love it. I love my body. I respect it. And that's why I train. And that's why I seek out the best food that you can find. And that's why I turn down food from people that are really just trying to offer me something and being polite, but I'm like, thanks, I'm good. Because I really, not from that standpoint, but I respect this machine that I've been given. I want to see how long I can make it go and challenge it. And so I'm going to leave you guys with that thought, because if you help people to get into this mindset of you're here to work out and eat well because you actually love your body, No matter where it is right now, even if you're 10 pounds overweight or 100 pounds overweight or you're underweight or you're not as strong as you want to be or not, if you can love now, choice, right? Then you can do anything you want right now. And the right now continues to tomorrow. That'll still be a right now when you get there. You'll continue this journey because you care about it. But if you can't love and appreciate your body and yourself right now, no amount of weight loss, weight gain, steroids, surgery, name it, alteration will get you there. It'll just become a continued snowball of more. So getting present, appreciating what you have, loving it, enjoying it, and doing something with it. You guys do that. You set the example for your people. You show them by example. You share your own struggles. I share my struggles all the time. I just shared some with you guys, right? You create a better bond, you move forward, and now you're actually making a difference. Good? I'm going to leave it at that for today, all right? If anyone wants to ask me any questions or hang out, I'm not going anywhere. So, okay? Thanks. I hope you guys enjoy the rest. And thanks for spending a lot more time with me. I really appreciate it.